Welcome to Business Bytes, where complex IT solutions become digestible insights for modern businesses.
Hey, Ian, a lot of times when we're talking to a prospective client, they'll ask us, aren't all MSPs pretty much the same? How would you help me to answer that?
Well, I would say that a lot of MSPs do share a lot of similarities, but I think there's a big difference between um, what what they're bringing to the table as far as experience and what their team is like, and the way in which they approach kind of handling IT for your organization as a whole.
How it's one flat fee for a suite of services. Yeah. Ian, a lot of times when we're talking to prospective clients, one of the questions they ask us is, aren't all managed services providers the same?
Well, I think a lot of managed service providers or MSPs, they are in charge of your IT, right? And that can mean a varying different array of concepts, right? So what sets an MSP apart is going to be kind of how they approach handling your IT, right? Whether that's going to be an all-encompassing suite of services, if they only do some, we only do this over here, or the other thing is what kind of team they have and what expertise they have on staff. There's going to be a lot of different variables between how each team handles your IT differently and the level of care which they take.
What would you tell a prospective client about what makes TCS different from the majority of MSPs out there?
Well, hang on now. I thought we didn't quite have the answer to that one. I'm supposed to come up with that on the spot.
Well, I would say that many MSPs use a kind of a prescribed set of tools, and they don't have really the level of expertise to use those tools to their greatest capacity. And one of the things that I think sets TCS apart from our competitors is our security focus. I mean, the tools that we have, the team that we have, we are very focused on a client's security. Whereas historically, a managed services provider was really just about maintaining a network, maintaining devices. We're really at the forefront of that, where the security aspect has changed dramatically. A lot more cybersecurity incidents today, and so that is our focus. We're a managed service provider with a security focus. So, and we have two layers for that. We have a basic layer that's appropriate for many companies, but then we also have a very high level layer that is for companies that are especially concerned about cyber incidents. Not every company could use it, but we try to delineate that so that a client who maybe is a little smaller and can't afford the really good product, they can still be protected.
Yeah, and I would say also that we really approach it as like a strategic partnership, right? It's not just, oh, something's not working, let me call my IT company. We really like to start off in the beginning, building that kind of building that layer, if you will, of your IT infrastructure and of all your systems, so that number one, nothing's going to be out of date, right? We're going to have modern and how do I say this? We're going to have modern and up to date. We're not on the bleeding edge here, but we're going to be stable, right? So one of the things is that we build a stable network, and we build a stable environment that really meets the needs of the client, right? And so building on that foundation makes things a lot easier to then secure at varying levels, right? So if we're building a strong foundation, then we can always add security onto it quite easily, or we're really trying to build kind of a secure function in the beginning, and then we can layer on those additional security tools to help us take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think your idea of a foundation to me is very helpful, where if you don't have a good foundation, there's no way you can build a house that's going to stand, or it's going to continually have cracks in the walls, etc. Whereas you mentioned strategic partnership. We strategically engage with the client we say, you've got to get rid of old equipment. I'm thinking back to a client of ours that wasn't part of our TCS Cyber Core program. They had a Windows 7 machine doing something in the back room that we really weren't even aware of. And that was the inflection point that the bad guys use to gain access, right? And so the importance of strategically engaging, where we say, let's get rid of all of the old equipment that is going to be a hole in your shield, if you will. And so that's I think something that we do as we strategically engage with the client.
Yeah, I think also that some of these other MSPs maybe started out as maybe like a phone vendor, or they started out doing something, like I said, phones, maybe networking, or they just started out doing miscellaneous IT jobs here and there for varying companies. And I'm sure that worked for a while, but TCS has been focused on that, the holistic IT, for many years. So our focus is that of we like to take a look at the environment as a whole, and treat it as a large connected piece, right? You go to the doctor and they say, hey, this organ over here is having an issue, but it's being affected by other things over here. You can't just treat the individual pieces necessarily. You kind of have to take it all in as one big organism and treat it in a way that they all are interplaying off each other. So
I think it's a great point where the copier company or the phone vendor has bolted on the networking aspect. We have stayed true. All we've ever done is maintain and manage networks for clients. We're more like a specialist in the medical field rather than a general practitioner. And yeah, a lot of those companies that have their core business, 60% of what they do is phones, and they're also dabbling in networks. Well, they obviously can't be the best in all of those things, right? There's going to be negatives to how they're handling that. And again, we've stayed focused on we're going to manage your network. We're not going to do your website. We're not going to do your phone system. We're going to focus and do what we do really, really well.
Yeah, I think probably to build on that, one of the more dangerous pieces is when they start to dabble in cybersecurity, right? When they start to dabble, and so they start maybe adding some additional security products and say, hey, we offer these security pieces. That's great, but if we don't know what we're doing as far as like how to manage them and how to respond to security incidents and really how to build a security practice that is resilient and can withstand these attacks that we know are going to happen, right? At TCS, we built our security team from the inside, right? We really kind of developed that and an on-site, on-staff, local security team of folks to help through whatever security incidents might come up, as they come up all the time, right? We pretty regularly deal with folks that are having email compromises or, constantly getting attacked, and we're finding those, remediating those, so before anything bad can happen in most cases. And that's really where I think we set ourselves apart, especially, is the fact that we've got our security team. Our security team is very experienced and has worked through many large issues over the years and really helped people's businesses stay intact and survive these storms, right? They've really been able to weather these storms and just keep their businesses going.
Our security team, we're here in town, right? I like to tell prospects we speak Southern. We find that our clients really like the fact that our support desk is here. They can understand them when there's a phone call. And beyond that, we can put somebody in a car and go when that needs to happen. Whereas many MSPs, to save costs, have outsourced all of that to overseas. And we think that's, again, a thing that really sets us apart from many of our competitors.
If one of your competitors maybe had you're competing against a competitor for some new business, right? And they're saying like, hey, we do that, right? Or we do this. Are there anything that sticks out to you as like a red flag, as like, well, okay, I know that they're saying that, but in this case, actually, you're going to get a staff of people. And sure, they may be 24/7, but they're not going to be here, and they might be difficult to understand in the middle of the night when you're trying to get things up and running. Is there anything that you've come across like that?
Certainly. I think one of the questions I'll often ask a prospect is, so it's the middle of the night, and you're calling overseas. Who do you think you're getting to on the other end of the phone? Are you getting to that, tier 3 senior person who can really help you with your problem? Or are you getting a guy who's just answering the phone? right? I mean, if you try to call Microsoft, you get the receptionist. You don't get a technical person. And I think that's basically what you're getting in the middle of the night. You're getting a receptionist. Maybe they can tell you reboot your computer or a few things, but it's going to take some time to get the right people involved. And again, we're here. We can put that person on-prem in the morning. And again, the 24/7, we find that 95% of our clients, their issues are issues that happen during the working day, maybe a little bit into the evening, maybe a little bit early in the morning, but we're available for that. So we've got the team members that are going to answer the phone.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of it plays into the what's the difference between the response time and the outcome, right? Here at TCS, our response times are very good, but what's the outcome that you're looking for, right? So if you're calling somebody in the middle of the night and you got somebody to respond, well, what was the outcome really? You should be prioritizing, when you're looking for that MSP partner, right? You should be prioritizing like, hey, what was the outcome of that situation? Did they fix the underlying issue? Did they slap a Band-Aid on it and move on, right? Put their tools in their trunk and get out of here? Or what happened? What was the outcome? Maybe you can get somebody fast, but what can you get quickly? Is it going to be an effective solution, or is it going to be just somebody to answer the phone? So I like that point. So as far as what organizations really care about and what they should really be looking for, give me 3 points, Barry. How would you kind of sum it up?
You want an MSP that's got a security focus. That is the number one issue for the day. So I think that would be first. You're looking for outcomes. It's great that somebody can answer the call, but are they here? Are they able to really solve that problem, even if that requires getting in a vehicle and coming to your location? And then where are they really owned? Are they part of a huge national VC event? Are they here in North Carolina? And your dollars are coming back to the state. So those would be my 3 main points that I would recommend looking for when you're searching for a new MSP.
Total Computer Solutions is the Triad's only fully local, IT-founded, still IT-focused managed service provider with 35 years of experience.